Like and subscribe! So you read the title and you presumably know what this video is about, otherwise I'm a little confused on how you got here, but you're very welcome regardless. But on to my point. There's a lot of versions of Clownpierce, and I don't really know what's canon to what. Because I would consider the main Clownpierce to be the Lifesteal one, but I don't know what you would consider canon to that isn't just Lifesteal, if anything. So I'm just gonna go over all of their individual specialties, and then you can like mix and match based on, oh, I think that the Kaboodle one is also canon to the main Clownpierce. But first I'm gonna go over some general stuff about him, things that'll apply to every version. So for starters, we all know Clownpierce is very good at combat. It's possibly his most notable feature. He is commonly known as the deadliest guy on Lifesteal SMP, which is pretty dangerous in a world where you have limited lives and can steal lives in multiple ways. But regardless, we just know that he is very, very good battle prowess. Doesn't have any like notably otherworldly speed feats, and I also think the different variations of the character don't really have any notable speed differences that don't apply to everyone in that universe. For example, I think in Content SMP, you can use the items in that to really make combat have a sort of speedster aspect to it, where everyone fighting is really fast, but the issue is this applies to everyone in universe, so it's not really a Clownpierce specific feat. It's more so that he would kind of have access to these tools if it was canon to the main version of the character. And so now I'll move on to intelligence, because that's the most notable thing that would be canon to every version of the character, because it's his human intelligence that applies to the game, but it's not like part of the game, you know? If you want a bunch of great examples of this, you can watch just about every video in his Lifesteal playlist, but I'm gonna keep it short for your enjoyment of this video. Specifically, I'm going to focus on the example of his casino in Lifesteal. He tricked a bunch of adults into gambling at a casino with them thinking it's fair. That doesn't even apply to real life. He started that video off with 11 hearts, and he ends it with damn near 20. He nearly doubled his health bar, and to quote him, he may have rigged the games, but they still thanked him after. This shows his insane scheming ability, but also his ability to manipulate people. He started with simple diamonds, you know, things that everyone can get a near infinite amount of with enough work. But then he turns into the devil from Cuphead and he starts bartering souls, and the house wins, cause no shit. Here's a bit of advice, kids: you never make deals with the devil, because what he'll offer you are things like diamonds, infinite riches, or maybe infinite friends or infinite bitches. But whatever you're gonna pay is worth far more to him. For example, your soul, or like 1 of 10 hearts, but regardless. Anyway, that fulfills my obligations for the intelligence section, although I do want to add a section special for Clownpierce, which I'm going to call the Raw as Hell section. He is a guy who makes music for him. He has his own theme song, and that's Raw as Hell. By the way, that's the music that's been playing in the background. I very highly recommend it. They're actually pretty boppin'. Who's ever said boppin' like that? Who's ever said boppin' and not just a bop? Regardless, link to the channel in the description. And now on to the thing I advertised at the very start of the video, the different variations of Clown. First off, Lifesteal, because no shit, that's the main version. They don't call him the strongest player in Lifesteal for no reason. So 2 or 3-ish notable abilities depending on what you count as a different ability. First of all, he can have like double the HP of everybody else in pretty much Minecraft history, excluding, of course, other Lifesteal members. And then the other ability that you could divide into 2 abilities, I technically would count as 3 myself, is how when he kills people, he takes hearts from them, like permanently. And he can also take these lives out of him and sort of throw them around, I guess, if he wanted to. He can also take other people's extracted lives, but of course that would require him making a deal with someone in Lifesteal. And other than this being the main source of all of his intelligence feats, where he uses tons of strategies and tricks, etc. to get hearts, that's about it for Lifesteal. A simple yet very cool gimmick. On to a far more complicated server when it comes to gimmicks. Content SMP. I picked this one to be the next we talk about because I mentioned it earlier, and also I really like this gimmick. Or I guess weapon. Let me explain. You see, Clown's buddy Rat modded in a special weapon for Clown. Basically, it takes HP from Clown and allows Clown to attack with basically what's the equivalent of his own blood. And when using the different poison dart frogs, you'd have to watch the video to understand what I'm talking about, by the way. But basically, poison dart frogs give you an effect, and when Clown uses the blood, it transfers any diseases he has. That makes sense. But when he combines the perfect amount of diseases plus the pure strength of his attack, basically instant death for whoever crosses his path. And mind you, that's only with 10 hearts, so if this was canonical to the Lifesteal version, he would be double as powerful because he wouldn't have to risk his life nearly as much to use his attacks. If I talk about the server too much more, I'm basically just going to be describing you all of the different items on the server, so we're going to move on. Now, to get it out of the way, I'm going to briefly talk about the version of Clownpierce that can bend fire to his whim. Basically, it was just a 100-player survival event that he participated in, with the Project Cora plugin, which allowed him to bend fire. Oh, we also, tried to take over the world and did pretty damn good at it, so I guess that's another intelligence feat. Don't get me wrong, this bending would be very strong when combined with other things. There's just not a lot to talk about. He can bend fire, and also lightning, and also possibly combustion, although I don't think I see him doing the latter two in the video. And now on to the one that took the most research to figure out what he can do, Kaboodle SMP. So there's something very difficult for me to find information on that I've been spending quite a while trying to find anything on, because there's nothing about it specifically on the wiki. Basically, he has a scythe weapon. It's a different scythe weapon from the one we talked about earlier, and I wanted to make sure that I knew what it did, because if it did like a bajillion attack damage, you know, obviously that's pretty freaking important. But first, on to other information before I get to that very difficult to find information on scythe. Interesting fact, he's canonically 6'3". That's pretty freaking tall. Also, I assume we can take this fact as being canon to every version, but I'm not going to make any large assumptions. You see, it's funny because he's tall. By the way, Kaboodle SMP has a story, and so if you'd like not to be spoiled, I guess you could stop watching here and come back after you're caught up, but if not, you can just stick around. So Clown is one of the people of the Nether race rather than the End race or Overworld race. The wiki describes his scythe as a custom model, but it doesn't specify if that means it's just a sword retexture or if it's something special. So my hunt continued as I watched tons of his VODs to see how much attack damage it did. I did find out easily that the scythe is named Grace. That raises the question though of if the one from Content SMP is called Beauty. You know, I could always just conclude that the stupid scythe is just a sword reskin, but it'll haunt me forever if I don't find out. Only briefly mentioned in the wiki, and I don't know if I want to go through hours upon hours of footage just to possibly end up empty-handed, so I guess that's the last resort. Update, I did the last resort. I think it's just a sword that looks funny. Well, it looks cool, but you get my point. So now, from here, let's compile all of the different things into one ultimate version of Clown and to see how horrifying that is. Extreme combat efficiency, extremely large intelligence, incredible manipulation ability, 20 hearts of health, hailing from the Nether. 2 scythes that it would be really cool if you used them both at once, I'm not gonna lie. It would quite literally be impossible, but it would be cool nonetheless. One of them using his own blood and health to slice into his enemies from a distance, applying any effects that he is currently suffering from onto them. He can make fire wield his very command and blast his enemies with it. He has his own personal composer. And lastly, the most important factor of this entire video. Something so legendary, I've even saved it for the very end of this program. I don't know if you're ready to hear what it is, but I think that Clown would like you to like and subscribe. But in all seriousness, I'd like to thank you for watching before the actual end of the video. I'd also like to say that this is going to become a far more common series on the channel. I'm going to intersperse it with my typical Minecraft content / whatever I feel like doing. I also think that from now on I'm gonna do 2 people from a server. So for example, I did Phil and Techno, and then I'm gonna switch to a new server. So now I've done Clownpierce, and I want you in the comments to make a decision whether I should from Clown move on to another person from Kaboodle SMP, or if I should move on to somebody from Lifesteal. And if so, I'd like your input on who, because to be honest, I only watch Clown from both really often, so I do watch some of the others, but mainly Clown, which is why I made the video on it. I'm not afraid to do a little research here. I mean, I haven't even watched all of the things I use for research for this video, so please, if you are interested in this series and want me to cover Redooms or Ivory or somebody, tell me in the comments, and it'll be out at some point whenever I finish it. But yeah, if you're watching this, thanks for the support. Don't forget to leave a like and everything. And leave that comment if you want to have input on my next video. I'll even respond. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe!